Hi friends, in the previous video I have explained about the crankshaft, then earlier to that I talked about the cylinder block. Now in the sequence, this video I am going to explain about the piston, connecting rod, piston rings, gudgeon pin, crankshaft, connecting rod bearings, etc. How they are built, what is the purpose of these components in an internal combustion engine, and how they are going to work. I am going to explain in detail. This is the piston connecting rod assembly showing the important parts contains in this assembly. Okay. This is piston with rings. This is the connecting rod. This is the small end. This is called gudgeon pin. This is the big end, and these are big end bearings. You can also see the bearing inside the small end. This is the total assembly. In the internal combustion engine, so when you assemble to the crankshaft, it looks like this inside the cylinder. See what happens in the internal combustion engine. When the combustion takes place, the chemical energy from the fuel and oxygen converts into the thermal energy, and that thermal energy creates thrust on this piston, which makes the piston to move downwards. So the connecting rod which is connected to the crank pin of the crankshaft makes to rotate the crankshaft in a circular path. You can see the cut section of the engine where you can find the piston, connecting rod and crankshaft like these cylinders. So during this process, what happens? The piston is the first part to take the tremendous heat, and connecting rod is the one which connects the piston with the crankshaft. Now let us have a look one by one. The job of the piston is to create the variable volume inside the cylinder to perform the 4 cycles of operation, that is suction, compression, power and exhaust. The next job is to transfer the mechanical energy to the crankshaft via the connecting rod linkage. And the other job is it has to withstand for the very high thermal and mechanical forces during the operation, because as we talked, this is the first component to face the combustion. Then it also has to work as a heat dissipating media, because whatever the heat is generated in the combustion chamber over the crown of the piston has to be let out through the cylinder walls, and it has to accommodate some other important critical parts like piston rings, then gudgeon pin. The temperature of the combustion chamber will be approximately 1500 degrees Celsius. So imagine the temperature on the piston. Generally, pistons in the engines will be having approximately 300 degrees Celsius, and the crown or the piston, there will be pressure of approximately 200 bar over the crown of the piston. For all high capacity engines, high horsepower engines, pistons are made with 2-piece piston. It is called 2-piece piston. What is 2-piece piston? I am going to show the figure. So the 2-piece piston means the crown area is made with the steel and the skirt area is made with the aluminum alloy. In all low and moderate engines, the entire piston is made with the aluminum alloy. The piston is having mainly 4 components. The top surface of the piston is called crown, which is subjected for the very high temperatures and thrust. And this particular area, whatever I am showing, is called the ring belt. This is called ring belt. Why? Because the rings are placed in these grooves. And in the ring belt area, the grooves, whatever is there, they are made with the steel to give the long life. The bottom portion is called the skirt, and this is called piston boss area. This is piston boss. Crown, ring belt, skirt, and boss. Crown is the main area which will give the sealing to the combustion chamber. Then these are the area, these grooves are to accommodate the piston rings. And then this is the one which is helpful to guide the piston for the reciprocating movement along the cylinder wall. And this is the area where the gudgeon pin is mounted, and there are some small grooves where you can see these are called gudgeon pin locks. This is about the piston, and you can also see there will be some drilled hole. This is the top one, that the top groove is to accommodate the compression ring, and this one is to accommodate the oil scraper ring, and this is to accommodate the intermediate ring. The intermediate ring assists both the ring, compression ring and as well as the oil ring. When you cut the piston, particularly diesel engine piston, the top portion of the pistons, inside the top portion of the piston looks like this hollow. This is actually completely steel piston, and this is called combustion chamber area. The design of the combustion chamber depends on the model and type of the engine. Okay. The steel, why this is provided? This is mainly provided to increase the heat dissipation area by increasing area, and also to reduce the weight of the piston, because if the piston is having more mass, the centrifugal forces will be more. So to minimize the weight and to increase the heat dissipation area, the hollow space is created. This is the aluminum piston in the reverse direction. So this is called bolt-on crown piston. The crown area, which is shown in the green color, is bolted to the piston body. These type of pistons are used in very high capacity diesel generating sets. If something happens to the piston crown area, only the top portion will be replaced and bottom portion reusing as it is. This is called the composite piston. It's a single piece, but the top portion is the steel and the bottom portion is the aluminum. This is the two-piece piston, what I told you. This is the steel, which takes the complete load, that is compression load and also the connecting rod load and accommodating the connecting rod, whereas this body or this aluminum body just act as the guiding. So this comes and accommodates here. This is the two-piece piston used. Nowadays all the higher capacity engines are used with the two-piece piston. It gives a lot of strength to accommodate the piston rings and as well as the gudgeon. So next is the piston rings we discussed. We have seen in the last picture where the piston rings are accommodated. This is another type of flat piston. Forget about what type of piston it is. Just let us look into the piston grooves. The grooves are like this. The top groove is to accommodate the compression ring. The job of the compression ring is to give the proper sealing to the air drawn inside during the compression. Okay, so the efficient compression takes place. And another job of the compression ring is to ensure the minimum possible loss of the expanded gases during the combustion. The gases should not come back inside the sump or crankcase. The bottom one is the oil scraper ring. Oil scraper rings, we can see two types of oil scraper ring. This is the scraper ring with the two upper and bottom flat ring maintained with a middle spring. It is called spring actually. You can see this is called oil ring expander. Keeps both the upper and top ring at a distance. Okay, so this is the oil scraper ring, and this one is called intermediate ring. Another type of oil scraper ring you can see here, this one. The steel ring will be single piece, but with a depth in the between. Instead of two pieces, it will be a single piece. It is with a kind of some channel portion like this. But the tension of this oil scraper ring is always maintained by providing a spring behind the backside of the oil scraper ring. In majority of the engines, this is the type of oil scraper ring uses actually. And when the cross section of the scrap oil rings, you can see like this, the compression ring will be having a U shape, and this is having second ring with a tapered face, and these are the oil scraper rings what we discussed, having always two edges like this. If the two rings are separate rings, anyway two edges. Even if it is a single ring also, it will be having two edges. And as I told you, there are oil holes drilled. Whatever the oil is scraped through this ring has to be drained back to the sump. It will go like this. Some oil will go through the wall, and some oil also will go to here. And this oil drill also helps in lubricating the gudgeon pin. You have seen here the cross section of the rings. Now we will see the joint of the rings or end of the rings. So different ends. This is called straight cut or butt cut, and this is called step cut. This overlaps on each other. This is called hook. This gives the complete locking with the movement. Then after the piston body, next and piston rings, the next is the gudgeon pin. Someone call it as a gudgeon pin and someone call it as a wrist pin. There are two types of gudgeon pins are available. One is the fully floating, the other one is the semi-floating. What is mean by fully floating? Fully floating is nothing but a pin which freely moves both in the piston and as well as in the connecting rod bush. If any piston boss is provided with the bearings, it is nothing but that is meant for the fully floating pin. So the entire the piston pin fully floats. And semi-floating means the pin is free only in the connecting rod gudgeon pin, but it is tightly fitted in the piston boss. Okay. How much tightness is required and what is the interference is required is based on the design of the piston and pin. And this gudgeon pin is always taking tremendous hammering forces from the piston. So it should be able to withstand for the shear forces and hammering forces. It should not bend or it should not break. So the material used in the gudgeon pin or wrist pin is the alloy steel, and the pins are made through forging process and heat treatment process. Now after the gudgeon pins, the piston pin locks. This is the lock. These are the locks. And some more types of locks are available. The purpose of this lock is to secure this pin from the lateral movement. So this is about the piston. One more important thing here about the material of the piston rings. With what material these are made? As said, these piston rings are supposed to withstand for very high temperatures. So they should be very highly wear resistant. At the same time, they should possess the springing action to give the proper sealing. The material used for the manufacturing the piston rings will be cast iron alloyed with chromium and other important critical materials which can withstand for the air. Some of the rings are made with even ceramic coating alloy also. Now let us discuss about one more important part that is connecting rod. Piston rings are over now. Now this is about the connecting rod. The job of the connecting rod is to connect the piston with the crankshaft. The small end is connected to the piston and big end is connected to the crankshaft, crank journal. So it moves along with the piston up and down simultaneously. It converts the reciprocating motion into the rotary motion along with the crankshaft. So these are the important parts of the connecting rod. This is called I-beam, the center portion. This is small end. A bearing or bush is fitted inside the small end. This is called big end, where this big end is sitting on the crankshaft journal. This is called big end cap, which is fixed with bolt and nut. And there are two bearings are sitting inside this big ending. One is the upper bearing, the other one is the lower bearing. This is another type of connecting rod with different big end model. Majority of the engines, latest engines, are fitted with this type of connecting rod. This is a different connecting rod in shape, and you can see a drilled hole also here from. This is an internal drill hole from big end to the small end. This is provided to pass the lubricating oil to lubricate the gudgeon pin and the small end bushing. The lubricating oil, whatever is coming to lubricate the big end bearing, a portion of the oil is passed through this hole. And you can see there are different types of the cuts, joints with the big end caps, various types of the joints. The connecting rods are made with steel alloy and made through forging process. This is the connecting rod small end bushing. Some bushes are like this, straight cylindrical bush like this, and some bushes are little bit in different shape. This is another type of the bush like this actually. Its bore is circular, but the shape and top will be, the width will be less and the bottom width will be more. Whatever the amount of load and type of loading is absorbed by is being taken by the gudgeon pin, same load acts on the small end also. So to have that shock absorbing capacity and to give the lubrication capacity, these connecting rod small end bearings are made with the copper alloy backed by the steel casing. These are the big end bearings. These are white metal, tri-metal bearing. These are identical to the crankshaft main bearings. How are the crankshaft bearing, white metal bearings, are clearly explained in the crankshaft. Half bearing, this is half portion of the bearing sits in the connecting rod, big end top, and half of the bearing is seated in the cap. This is about the connecting rod. One more important component which is not shown here because it's not part of the connecting rod piston is the piston cooling nozzle. The piston cooling nozzle is fitted in the crankcase, in the oil gallery of the block. The job of the piston cooling nozzle is always to splash the engine oil towards the piston skirt, towards the piston, and also to the cylinder liner. Because the splashing of the oil helps to carry the heat from the piston, the heat transfer, and as well as the lubricate the piston rings and liners. That is the job of the piston cooling nozzle. Hope the content provided in this video about the piston and connecting rod is useful to you. I am also giving 4 pages of notes along with this video. Hope it will be useful to you. Friends, hope the contents of this video is useful to you. If you have any questions or queries or suggestions, please email to me or WhatsApp to me. Thank you for watching this video.